Hello everyone and welcome to July's edition of Trailer Talk. There's been some really interesting trailers and teasers released this month. Too many to cover in this video, I'll warn you now. So let's dive on in. First up, we had the first trailer to a brand new movie that I knew absolutely nothing about until this trailer released. And that's a film called Project Hail Mary. This movie is based on the book by Andy Weir and sees a school teacher played by Ryan Gosling sent on a mission to find the means of reversing a solar dimming event that could cause the extinction of humanity. Oh, and he meets an alien as well. This trailer was actually the first time that I'd heard anything about this movie. In fact, every single movie that I've been to see in cinemas over the past month, the trailer for this has played. It sounded interesting and I was curious to see what it was. And then I saw who was involved in this. As I said, this is based on the 2021 novel by Andy Weir. And Andy Weir is actually the author of The Martian, the adaptation of which starring Matt Damon is one of my all-time favourite sci-fi films. And even better, the screenwriter that worked on The Martian is working on this as well. And on top of that, this is being directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the creators of the Spider-Verse movies. Sold. This is a pretty meaty trailer too, and yet it barely shows anything. It gives you the basic premise but very little else. I am a little surprised that they actually showed a glimpse of the alien that Ryan Gosling's character meets. I would have thought they would have kept that a surprise. I don't know how significant it's going to be to the overall plot though. I haven't read the book, as you probably guessed. But yeah, this trailer really caught my attention and I'm really excited to check this out. Right now, this is one of my most anticipated movies of next year, and I think an IMAX screening is in order. According to everyone who's read it, the book is supposed to be absolutely amazing, so I really hope that it's as good as they say it is. And yes, I am really excited for this. Project Hail Mary will be in cinemas from March 2026. Next up, we got the first trailer to a movie that I didn't even realise was coming out this year, and that's Edgar Wright's adaptation of The Running Man. Based on the novel by Stephen King, this new adaptation sees a down-on-his-luck father, played by Glenn Powell, enter a game show where he must survive 30 days while being pursued by hunters across the world. Very famously, The Running Man has been adapted into movies before, the most notable of which being the 1980s movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it strayed very far away from the source material. This new adaptation, by all accounts, is a lot closer to the book, and from how it looks in this trailer, it looks like it's going to be a bloody good time. As I said, this is directed and co-written by Edgar Wright, one of my favourite film directors, and this absolutely looks like an Edgar Wright film. From the lively tone, the creative and nutty action sequences with some dazzling visuals, the very dark humour and satirical nature, this looks like so much fun. And that presenter that pops up a few times in this trailer, "This is America, goddammit," he looks like he is having the time of his life. I can definitely see where things like Hunger Games probably got their inspiration from, because he does feel very similar to Caesar Flickerman. I do love an Edgar Wright movie, so I was already excited to see this anyway, but this trailer has really hyped me up for it, and I'm so excited to see how this turns out. I will definitely be seeing this when it comes out. The Running Man will be in cinemas from November. Next up, and quite surprisingly, it turns out that we're getting a new Cat in the Hat movie, quite aptly titled The Cat in the Hat. It's only a short teaser trailer that lightly gives an idea about what this is going to be about, as well as giving us a taste of Bill Hader's vocal performance as the cat. I'm kind of split on the voice so far, and to be fair, I'm kind of split on the overall movie. I'll admit, I've never really read that much Doctor Who, so I don't really have that much of an emotional attachment to these stories. I've seen the live action movie with Mike Myers, and that's all I've really got to go on. I didn't mind that film too much as a kid, but as I've gotten older, yeah, I can definitely see the problems. One thing I will say, I love how this looks visually. I think the animation and art design is really dazzling, and I love how it switches between 2D and 3D. It's definitely adding its own spin to the art design, but I really like it and it does look interesting. And bonus points, it's not being made by Illumination. All their movies feel the same to me, and I didn't like their version of The Grinch. I'll hold off judgment until I see a little bit more of this, but I am curious to see what this is going to be like. The Cat in the Hat will be in cinemas from February 2026. Right. I don't really know how I'm going to talk about this next one because, you can only see it in cinemas. And that's the first teaser trailer to one of my most anticipated movies of 2026, and that's a movie called The Odyssey. Christopher Nolan is back with a brand new movie, this time adapting Homer's ancient Greek poem about Odysseus, here played by Matt Damon. There's not a lot really to talk about with this one so far, as it's a very simple teaser trailer that gives us a quick glimpse of Tom Holland as Odysseus' son, asking John Bernthal's character where his father is. And we also get a quick shot of Odysseus himself aboard a wooden float in the middle of the ocean. And that's really it. I did say it wasn't much. It's pretty mysterious and we don't know an awful lot about the movie, but this teaser has really intrigued me. I'm not really that familiar with Homer's poem, I only really know a few things. If it's the right story I'm thinking of. I think the stringing of a bow is part of it. But yeah, I am genuinely excited to see this. It's something different, not just in terms of what the film is, but to come from Christopher Nolan. He's never made anything like this. So I am really curious how it is that he's going to adapt some of the more out there elements like the gods and monsters and things like that. Especially because he is very famously a practical filmmaker and everything he has to do is practical. So I am really curious to see what it is that he's going to do about those things. But I am really looking forward to this. And hopefully the teaser is released online soon. The Odyssey will be out in July 2026. but you can buy your IMAX tickets now for some reason. Anyway, next up we also got another surprise in the shape of a teaser trailer for an upcoming Spongebob movie. The Spongebob movie, Search for Squarepants. I'll be completely honest, I didn't even know they were making a new one. I haven't watched any Spongebob in a long time. In this movie, Spongebob journeys to the ocean depths to face the Flying Dutchman's ghost, voiced by Mark Hamill, where he encounters challenges and uncovers marine mysteries. This looks like a SpongeBob movie. As I said, I haven't watched SpongeBob SquarePants in quite some time now, but I did used to enjoy it as a kid. And in fact, I actually went to see the first movie in cinemas back in 2004 with my mum. I feel old. I'll be honest, I didn't even realise the show was still going, and it started back in July 1999, which technically means that SpongeBob has been around longer than One Piece. But the episode count absolutely pales in comparison. But yeah, as I said, I didn't even realise the show was still going, let alone that there was another movie in development. Especially after the last one featured a cameo from Keanu Reeves. I mean, where do you go from there? This is only a short teaser that gives you a taste of what's in store, including some actually pretty decent animation. I actually do quite like the style that they've gone for with this because yes, it is definitely 3D animation, but it does kind of retain the look of the TV series, which I think is quite clever. It's a bit odd, I'll admit, but not bad. It looks like this could be a fun time, and I'm sure that it will be, but I don't think this will be a cinema trip for me, and I don't think I'll be going out of my way to see it either. That sounds really harsh, but I can't lie, this teaser hasn't really grabbed me. But we'll see, it could be a surprise hit for all we know. The SpongeBob movie Search for Squarepants will be out in December. Next up, we have something that really surprised me because I genuinely didn't think this movie was happening, and that's the first official trailer to the brand new Red Sonja. Red Sonja is an adaptation of the comic book series from Marvel and Dynamite Comics, and sees the she-devil with a sword uniting a group of unlikely warriors to face off against the evil tyrant and his deadly bride that enslaved her, before they destroy her people. Red Sonja has already been adapted into live action before, back in 1985, starring Bridget Nielsen, with mixed results. But the road to getting a brand new movie has been very long and rocky. In fact, this iteration of the film has been in development since 2017 and was going to be directed by Bryan Singer, before he was fired. At one point in time, this movie was set to star Hannah John Kamen, who most people know as Ghost from Ant-Man and Thunderbolts, who then left. It's been very stop-start, this one. But now we officially have a new movie on the way, with MJ Bassett directing, Tasha Huo on writing duties, and Matilda Lutz as the Barbarian Huntress. And it looks fine. I can't say the trailers really grabbed me, if I'm being honest, but I am still interested to see what it's like. It doesn't look bad. There's some pretty cool visuals in it, even with the low budget feel, and it looks like they're embracing some of the more fantastical elements from this world. It's really cool to see a return to the old sword and sorcery vibe that we haven't really seen in a movie for quite some time. There's also some really good actors involved in this, like Wallace Day, Robert Sheehan and Luca Pasqualino. I'm a little mixed on what I've seen so far of Matilda's performance, but maybe she can win me over. She does sound really passionate about this project, and from what I've heard about her performance in other things, she is really good. So I think she will. And I can't not mention, I am really surprised to see that she actually does wear her comic book accurate costume. I never thought, especially today, that they would even consider letting her wear the chainmail bikini, but here it is. I thought they'd just show it on screen as a gag and have her make fun of how unpractical it was, which they actually do. But I like that it's apparently going to play into the overall story and not just be for like eye candy. Anyway, I am wondering if, and that's a big if, this movie somehow manages to do well. Could we potentially see Conan in the future? Conan the Barbarian and Red Sonja do exist within the same world. In fact, Arnold Schwarzenegger actually appears in the 1985 film. But they weren't allowed to call him Conan. Copyrights. Whatever the case may be, and whenever this movie gets a UK release, because it doesn't have one yet, I am keen to give it a go. Red Sonja will be out later this month. Next, we finally got a trailer to something that I have been so excited for, Stranger Things 5. In the 5th and final season of Stranger Things, the year is now 1987, and Hawkins is now under military quarantine after the rift opens and the hunt for Eleven continues. As the anniversary of Will's disappearance approaches, the final battle looms, with both Vecna and a darkness more powerful and deadly than anything our heroes have faced before. Who doesn't love Stranger Things? That's right, people who haven't seen it. Within the past week, I've actually started doing a rewatch of the entire show leading up to the new series. And my god, it's changed. Outside of The Sandman, this has been the big event series that I've been looking forward to this year. And it's been a long time coming. And regardless about my complaints about the release schedule for this season, it looks so good. Bear in mind, even at 2 minutes 30, this is still just a teaser trailer that doesn't really show that much. We get some shots of all the returning cast, it showcases some of the old beasties like Demogorgons and Demodogs. We get a quick glimpse of Linda Hamilton's character, the Rift, and a small glimpse of Vecna with a slightly new look. It looks huge and epic in equal measure, and I think we're in for an emotional roller coaster. I'm really curious to see how the Duffer Brothers are planning to wrap this story up, what each of the characters get up to, and most importantly, who survives. But I am not speculating. I want to be surprised and I want to enjoy every second of it until it ends. I am curious though. What are the episode lengths for this season going to be like? I've got a sneaky suspicion it's going to rival season 4, so clear your schedules. Seriously, 2.5 hours, that's not an episode of a TV show, that's a full-on film. And that's partly why I'm saying why don't you release the last episode in cinemas? Actually treat it like a proper event. Anyway, I am really excited for this and I can't wait for it to come out. Stranger Things 5 Volume 1 will be on Netflix from November, Volume 2 will be out on Christmas, and the finale will be out on New Year's Day. And as I said, clear your schedules. Next up, we have a trailer for something that is shaping up to be the movie of the year. Oh yes, it's time for Uncaged Fury! Johnny Cage is back, kicking ass and taking names. They pissed him off, they messed with his shades, I'm talking about Mortal Kombat 2. How'd you going though, didn't I? Yeah, we got the first trailer to the long overdue sequel to the 2021 action movie based on the video game series. This time around, the fan favourite champions, now joined by Johnny Cage himself, are pitted against one another in the ultimate battle to defeat the dark rule of Shao Kahn that threatens the very existence of the Earth Realm and its defenders. I was really surprised how much I enjoyed the first movie, and I think that a lot of people were in the same boat. It wasn't a perfect movie by any means, and I thought that the main character was a bit bland, but it was a load of fun and has some spectacular fight scenes. The first movie came out during the pandemic, so it didn't do very well. I think it was straight to HBO as far as I'm aware, and because of that, I didn't think that a sequel would be possible, so I'm really happy to finally see something. This looks more or less what I expected, but seems to be a lot bigger with more characters and environments. The over-the-top violence and gore is still there, and Carl Urban seems to be having the time of his life. I haven't played any of the games, so I have absolutely no knowledge of any of these characters. Raiden was the only character I knew purely through his appearances in the Injustice games, as well as all the comparisons I saw between Raiden and the assassin in Big Trouble in Little China. I'm not expecting this to be a huge success or a masterpiece by any means, but it does look like a load of fun, and I am definitely going to be checking this out in cinemas. Mortal Kombat 2 will be out in October. Next up, we have a proper full-length trailer to Tron Ares. The third instalment of the Tron series sees Jared Leto playing a highly sophisticated program called Ares, sent from the digital world into the real world on a dangerous mission. I've actually been kind of looking forward to this one. I wouldn't say that I was a huge fan of the Tron franchise, but I have seen the previous 2 movies and I do think that they are good and I do enjoy them. But I thought after Legacy that was going to be it. But it's Disney, so of course they'll try and find a way to make more. And I can't lie, this actually does look quite interesting and cool. From its all-star cast, including the returning Jeff Bridges, to the real light cycles which look so cool in the sequences we've seen, this does look really fun. As it turns out, they're actually CGI, so the effects in this look really good so far. I did wonder where the series could really go from this point, because both the original Tron and Legacy had a very similar story, which saw a real person getting stuck in a video game. So I like the twist that this one sees the programs enter the real world as like a task force. And I can't lie, the action looks like it's going to be awesome. Plus, an original soundtrack created by 9 Inch Nails, which we've already had a small taste of. They've already released one of the songs online. Very famously, Daft Punk actually came in to do the soundtrack for Tron Legacy, and I thought that was pretty decent. But the soundtrack for this movie so far sounds great. I think a good sound system will be in order to see this, but it honestly does look good, even with Jared Leto as the main star, and I am looking forward to it. Tron Ares will be in cinemas in October. Right, up next we have a trailer for a brand new horror movie sequel based on a video game series that doesn't really work as a movie series, but it made a load of money, so let's make 2 more. And yes, that movie is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. The follow-up to the 2023 horror movie based on the video game series sees Josh Hutcherson, Piper Rubio and Elizabeth Lale return as Mike, Abby and Vanessa as they try to readjust into their lives after their experiences in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. But after receiving ghostly messages, they all soon find themselves having to evade those killer animatronics once again. I'm going to be totally honest. I didn't really like the first one that much. It had some cool ideas and I thought it looked really good, and the puppets created by Jim Henson's workshop were incredible, but the story didn't work for me. I thought the dream sequences were a little bit overbearing, the scary stuff and the jump scares barely fazed me, and that's a first, and overall to me it just felt rushed with too much happening, so it didn't really click with me. So I can't really say that I'm too excited for this. But then again, maybe they could win me over with this one. Don't get me wrong, I do think that this does look fine overall. I like that we get some glimpses of the animatronics actually outside in public. Plus, McKenna Grace makes an appearance. Just don't waste her, please. She is a fantastic actress. Use her. I'm happy this doesn't give too much away, and it even teases a few appearances from some new characters and returning William Afton. And I am curious to see if Markiplier will actually get his cameo this time after having to drop out of the last one. We'll see what happens. But other than that, it looks okay. say. I hope that fans are happy that this is coming out, and I am curious to see what it is that they get up to in it. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 will be in cinemas this December. Right, now for a teaser I was hoping to see this month, and that is for the second season of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Based on the best-selling book series from Rick Riordan, the second season adapts the second book in the series, The Sea of Monsters, which sees Percy and his friends head for the dangerous Sea of Monsters in a quest to locate a magical item that can help restore the barriers to Camp Half-Blood. The story for the second season has already been previously adapted into the 2013 movie, which I didn't mind, and it's a hell of a lot more faithful than the first movie was. But in my opinion, it didn't really do this story justice, and it leaves things on a giant cliffhanger that never gets resolved. So hopefully, like the first season, they can. This show, okay, does have some differences to the source material, but it adds a lot more layers and fleshes out some of the more two-dimensional characters. Plus, I love how much more knowledgeable about Greek mythology he is, so I'm happy to see more of that this season, and so far it does look to be the case. In this teaser, we get a few glimpses of some major plot points involving Luke, the Sea of Monsters itself, Grover on his quest for Pan, the Fates in their taxi, and a first look at Percy's half-brother, Tyson. But I don't want to say too much just in case you haven't either read the book or seen the film. So all I'll say is, this looks pretty good. And in other good news, season 3 has not only been commissioned, it is now officially in production, so we are finally going to get some payoff in live action. I'm really happy how this show is turning out so far, how the new season looks, and I'm excited to see how Sea of Monsters is going to get adapted. Percy Jackson and the Olympians season 2 will begin on Disney Plus in December. Next, we have the trailer to a long overdue sequel that I forgot was out this year, and that is for Spinal Tap II, The End Continues. Released 41 years after the original, this mockumentary sequel sees the band known as Spinal Tap reuniting after a 15-year break for one final concert. I think it goes without saying, This is Spinal Tap is one of the best mockumentaries ever made. It's a brilliant comedy that pokes fun at the culture of rock bands, and it had a proper impact as well. I'm guessing most of you watching this video are probably aware of the phrase dial it up or turn it up to 11. This is Spinal Tap is where that phrase comes from, and on top of that, it's absolutely genius. So I was a bit mixed on the idea of them making another one after so long, but honestly, so far it does look like they have a decent recipe for this, and it couldn't be more timely because of how many big bands have been reforming recently, and it's great to see the old cast back too slipping perfectly back into these roles, as well as some pretty big cameos from some musical legends like Sir Paul McCartney and Sir Elton John. Plus, it is clever having the Stonehenge as the logo. I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen the first one in a long time, so I definitely think that I'm going to have to do a rewatch of the first one before seeing this. Honestly, there's not much to say here. It looks good, it looks enjoyable, it looks funny, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing it. I do wonder if any of the songs are going to enter the charts after this comes out. Hey, if a 30-second song about bloody lava chicken can enter the charts, anything's possible. Anyway, Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues will be out in September. Next up, we return to Disney with the first teaser trailer to the long-awaited sequel, Avatar: Fire and Ash. This will be the third chapter in James Cameron's long-running sci-fi series about big blue aliens on a planet called Pandora. Still grappling with the grief of losing their son, Jake and Neytiri will encounter a new aggressive Na'vi tribe known as the Ash People, and as the conflict on Pandora escalates, a new moral focus emerges. It's been almost 3 years since the last one came out, just let that sink in, and the fourth one isn't due for another 4 years. I swear this one was meant to be out back in like 2015, and we could have had an Alita sequel by now too. Anyway, if you saw my review for The Way of Water, you know that these movies aren't exactly my favourite, but on a technical level, I can't deny that they are absolutely spectacular and well worth the big screen experience, especially in 3D. And that's probably why they make so much money. That's got to be the reason, hasn't it? And this one looks no different, boasting some jaw-dropping visuals and cinematography, with CG effects that honestly look like some of the best this year. This is very light on story details, just dropping a few hints about what's in store for the Sully family this time, like the return of Quaritch, as well as the introduction of the Ash People. Long ago, the four nations lived in harmony, but all that changed when the Ash People invaded. Yeah, don't think we haven't noticed the similarities, Cameron. It's a very music-heavy trailer too, featuring James Horner's themes with a few snippets of dialogue and noises. It's not mixed together the best, but it'll do. It does look like they will be following through on a few loose ends from the last film, like the aftermath of Spider's decision to save his father, and the story around Kiri and her connection to Awa. I am curious where this one is going to go. Admittedly, it doesn't look too different to the previous two movies, but it does feel a bit darker. I hope it's as good, if not better than the previous two films. But no matter the quality, this is a big event movie that I think is definitely going to be worth seeing on the big screen. IMAX 3D will be a must. I just hope my cinema has it fixed this time. I think it is sorted now. I did go and see see Superman and Fantastic Four in 3D. So I think we're good. Avatar Fire and Ash will be out in December. Every time I say that title, all I can think of is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Avatar Fire and Ash. I can't do an Arnie impression. Anyway, and finally, we also got a full-length trailer to Zootopia 2. The sequel to the 2016 animated movie sees officers Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde going undercover in new parts of town, while on the twisting trail of a mysterious reptile who turns the mammal metropolis of Zootopia upside down. This trailer is a little bit more story-focused this time around, where it keeps any big plot developments under wraps. We see a brief glimpse of their new assignment that comes in the slippery form of Gary, voiced by Ke Huy Quan. We get a brief glimpse of the reptile area of the city. I'll be honest, it never really crossed my mind that we don't actually see any reptiles in the first film, so I like that there's this whole uncharted area of the city that's yet to be explored. Maybe a third movie could deal with birds or something. But we also get to see, and this is my favourite part of this trailer, a couples therapy session for police partners run by a quokka. I mean, that's just perfect. If you ever need cheering up, just have a look online for them. That sequence looks really funny, and I like the pairing of the other animals too, like an elephant and a mouse. But it does hint that not all is well between Nick and Judy, which I am curious to see what it is that they do with them. My biggest hope is that they don't fall into too many cliches when it comes to these kind of movies. But if they do, I hope that it is done well and makes sense within context of the story. I'm just excited to finally see this. As I said in the last video where I talked about this movie, Zootopia, or Zootropolis as it's known over here for some reason, it's one of my favourite Disney animated movies, and the concept of this world is just ripe for a movie series, so I really hope that this one isn't disappointing. Now, I'm not stupid enough to raise my expectations to ridiculous levels and expect this movie to be the best Disney movie in years, but I am hoping for something that does reach the quality of the first film. If they can do that, then great. So we'll see how it turns out. Zootopia 2 or Zootropolis 2 will be out in November. Right, I think I'll leave this video there. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have, if you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. If you have seen any of these trailers, let me know down in the comments what you think about them and which movie you're looking forward to the most. Plus, if you have any suggestions for any future Rewind reviews or recommendations you would like to see me do in the future, let me know down below. But until next time, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. See you guys.